Welcome to day 4 of the Red Letter Challenge. I hope you're having a great day. I hope your first 3 days of the challenge have gone well. Today, on day 4, we're up to that fourth element of the marks of a disciple. What Jesus talks about. Spending time with God. Being a child of God. Just dwelling in those promises. Secondly, we talked about forgiving, being people who are forgiven and in turn forgive. We talked yesterday about serving the needs of those around us as we have been served by Christ himself. Today we're talking about that topic that, well, to be honest, it makes some people wince. It's the topic of giving. It's a topic which some people say it's all churches talk about. Well, in a way, they're right. Because you see, at the heart of the Christian story is all about giving. It's our verse for today if you have the 40-day challenge calendar. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son. You see, the story is all about giving. In the Old Testament, people worried about how much should we give. God actually challenged the people of the Old Testament. In fact, it's really one of the only places in the Bible where God says you can check me out on this. You can actually test me. In fact, there are several places where he says, don't test me, don't tempt me, I don't have to prove myself to you. But in this way, he says, test me in this. And the testing is in our generosity. He says, bring a tithe, 10%. Bring a tithe into the storehouse. And see if I don't open the floodgates of heaven and bless you. Do you know who some of the most generous people are in the world? They're often the ones with the least. I remember a mission trip a number of years ago. Shirley and I were both on a trip in Reynosa, Mexico. And we built a new home for Ascension. Ascension's home was very small. It was made of cinder blocks and corrugated sheet metal that were kind of held together by sticks and a few pieces of rebar that would go down through some of the bricks and some twine that held some of the sheet metal together. That was her home. We built her a house with a wooden platform and 2x6 joists underneath and 2x4 walls and 3/4-inch plywood exterior panels around it and a roof over it, windows with screens on, a door that opened and closed with hinges and not just with some metal clamps. And the last day we were there, Ascension wasn't there to greet us. It was really kind of unusual. She had been there every morning. She spent her day, helping us. And here's how she helped. We had a bunch of junior high kids that were building this house. I have nothing against junior high kids. Some of my favorite people are junior high kids. And they would take a nail and go to pound it in. And, well, their carpentry skills sometimes leave a little to be desired. So as good Americans, when they bent a nail, they threw it on the ground and got a new one and proceeded to put it in. Ascension would walk around behind them and she would pick up all those bent nails and she would straighten them out, beating them against a rock with a hammer until they were straight and usable again, and then she'd give them back to us. She didn't want us to waste anything. But this last day she wasn't there. So we went to work, finish up her house. And shortly thereafter, her daughter came to the house and said that her mother would be there soon. She went to the market, and sure enough, just a little while later, here we saw Ascension coming. This small, aged woman coming, carrying 2 big grocery bags with her. She went to work right away and began to cook. See, she had gone to the market to buy some chickens for us. She wanted to feed us on this day. It was her way of saying thanks. And she made us this delicious meal of chicken. When the kids ate the food that day, her daughter told the truth about Ascension and said, I hope you enjoy this meal. It comes from her heart, and because of the cost of this meal, Ascension probably won't eat next week. She'll eat some from the generosity of others around her, but she won't be able to buy any food because she spent all that she had to feed you, to give thanks to you. See, that's generosity, not giving from our abundance, but giving from the heart. Paul says God loves a cheerful giver. It's one who doesn't give out of compulsion. It's not to fill out a checkbox on his Sunday offering envelope. It's not to fulfill some needed desire for a pledge. No, it's to give out of a heart that says, I have received so much, I don't even know where to begin repaying. As we look at giving, I want you to also think about the fact that this house that I just told you about that we built for Ascension, we built one the next year in Texas, in San Antonio, in fact, in the Alamo Dome for the National Youth Gathering. We built the house inside the Alamo Dome so that people could come to our booth, see the homes we built, and say, hey, I want to be a part of that project. I want to be a part of that mission. When the gathering was over, then the question comes, what do we do? We've built a house inside the dome. What do we do with it? Well, only thing we could do, we sold it. Who's going to buy a house? Well, actually, there were a lot of people interested in it. And the gentleman that bought it came and took the four walls, the roof off, disassembled it, and took it home and reassembled it in his backyard as a shed to store extra stuff that wouldn't fit in his garage. We need to sometimes get our mind cleaned of what's necessary and what's over the top. We all have over the top. As I sit in this office is furnished, to be perfectly honest, over the top. We need to remember that in our riches, and let's face it, we are all wealthy people. In our riches, God asks us to be generous, uber generous. I love the expression that Zach uses in the book on day 4, and it will come up a couple times in our conversation when we get to that week. I'm convinced it's impossible to be a stingy Christian. I would agree. Well, I hope you're having a good day. I hope the challenge is challenging you. Tomorrow we come to the 5th and final of our focus as we get ready to begin our first week of emphasis. So join us tomorrow for day 5 of the Red Letter Challenge. I hope you're having a great day. We'd love to hear from you, hear how it's going. You know how to get a hold of us. Just reply to this message, leave a comment, send me a note. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.